Do subscribe to Filter Kaapi and click on the bell icon to get regular updates.
A Happy New Year to all our viewers of the Filter Kaapi YouTube channel. Hello and welcome to this episode of Decode the South. We are going to be looking at Amaravati and whatever has been happening in Amaravati over the last 15 days. An agitation is going on by the farmers of Amaravati who had given their lands as part of an elaborate land pooling exercise to the Andhra Pradesh government when Chandrababu Naidu was Chief Minister between 2014 and 2019. But now, after the G. Nageshwar Rao committee has proposed that Andhra Pradesh should have three capitals, that is Visakhapatnam as the executive capital, where the entire political establishment as in the government will sit, including the Chief Minister, Amaravati as only the legislative capital, and Kurnool as the judicial capital to house the High Court of Andhra Pradesh. There have been protests in Amaravati because they feel that they have been cheated by the government, they have been let down because they were promised a pot of gold, as it were, if they actually gave their lands to the Andhra Pradesh government, to the Andhra Pradesh Capital Region Development Authority, APCRDA, as part of this land pooling arrangement. Now, what is really happening on the ground and why is it significant? There have been some Delhi-based commentators who have been looking at it from the prism of New Delhi. What we will be doing on Filter Kaapi and on this episode of Decode the South is to look at it from the prism of Andhra Pradesh and what it will do to the politics of Andhra Pradesh and this region of South India. First of all, it's significant that Chandrababu Naidu has decided to abstain from any New Year celebrations and has decided to park himself in Amaravati and significantly with his wife Nara Bhuvaneshwari as well, almost to convey that he is there throwing his weight behind the Amaravati farmers to ensure that they get their due, that they are not taken for a ride by the Jagan Mohan Reddy government, because the farmers as well as the Telugu Desam, at least Chandrababu Naidu, believes that it was a promise given by the government of Andhra Pradesh and it is for the next government, the present government of Andhra Pradesh, to honor that commitment. Of course, a final decision has not been taken. That will be taken only after a second committee studies the G.N. Nageshwar Rao's committee's recommendations and then arrives at a final decision that will be taken by the cabinet. But definitely the voices from within the YSRCP suggesting that it will be Visakhapatnam as the administrative and the real capital in a sense of Andhra Pradesh. Now, another significant and interesting optics which is happening in Amaravati at this point in time is to use the rangolis or the columns as a way of protest, just like it happened in Chennai over the CAA and the NRC. The columns being used to suggest that save Amaravati, save Andhra Pradesh, almost to say that this kind of going back on a promise is not something which is expected of the government, and this kind of a decision to have three different capitals is almost reminding people of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So those are some of the kind of comments which are being made. That's the kind of commentary on social media. That's the kind of narrative that is being built on social media in Andhra Pradesh. Now, in addition to Chandrababu Naidu, even Pawan Kalyan of the Janasena has decided to hit the road as far as Amaravati is concerned. He was there almost staging an impromptu dharna because he was stopped at a particular point within Amaravati by the state police. So Pawan Kalyan also using the star power and the social media power of the Janasena to drive home the point that what Jagan is doing is not something right and not in the larger interest of Andhra Pradesh. But is it really true? Let's take a step back and look at the larger picture. What is the politics being playing out? Because the insinuation and the allegation is that what Jagan Mohan Reddy is doing is essentially revenge politics, vengeance politics, because he wants to undo everything that Chandrababu Naidu had done. Now, Chandrababu Naidu had kind of over-focused on Amaravati during his 5 years as Chief Minister. He would talk every time about Amaravati, almost reminding people of the mistake he made vis-a-vis Hyderabad, putting all his eggs in the Amaravati basket, and that's what cost him dear in the Andhra Pradesh elections of April-May 2019, where he has been reduced to just 23 MLAs and 3 MPs from Andhra Pradesh. But the narrative that is being built up is that Jagan Mohan Reddy does not want any credit vis-a-vis Amaravati to go to Chandrababu Naidu, which is why this decision to reduce it to just being a house for the Legislative Assembly and the Legislative Council, where too not all the sessions will take place. The main session, the budget session, is likely to take place in Visakhapatnam, which means only the short monsoon and the winter sessions will take place in the Amaravati Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council. Now, what is Jagan's politics behind all this? One, of course, is the caste angle, because the YSRCP believes that a number of leaders belonging to the Telugu Desam, also perhaps belonging to Chandrababu Naidu's community, indulged in buying a whole lot of lands when they knew that the new capital is going to be established in and around Amaravati, basically resorting to insider trading. That is the YSRCP's allegation, and reports are that there could be a CID probe into this entire deal. Chandrababu Naidu has welcomed it, saying that instead of just leveling these allegations, instead of just throwing this mud, let there be a transparent probe whether this kind of insider trading indeed took place. But insider trading, a term, has been used quite often by Jagan Mohan Reddy even during the election campaign to say that there was a whole lot of corruption as far as this entire Amaravati as capital deal was concerned. The other is really the politics of it, because what is happening within the Telugu Desam is very interesting, because leaders of the TDP from both Rayalaseema as well as North Coastal Andhra Pradesh are fairly happy with what Jagan Mohan Reddy is proposing to do, because those from Srikakulam, Vizianagaram, Visakhapatnam district, even to an extent East Godavari district, are quite happy with Visakhapatnam if Visakhapatnam is indeed made as the administrative capital, the executive capital of Andhra Pradesh, because they believe this is something which should have been done in the first place. Vizag, as this largest city of Andhra Pradesh, has the necessary infrastructure and an ecosystem in place to house the capital city of Andhra Pradesh, and not something like Amaravati where villages were sought to be converted into some kind of a capital city region. So that is something they feel that after 5 years, the wrong which was done to them in 2014, 15, 16 is actually being undone by the Jagan Mohan Reddy government. But more importantly, politically, Chandrababu Naidu is getting isolated within his own Telugu Desam party. If leaders from the North Coastal and the Rayalaseema region actually start moving away over this issue, that's precisely what Jagan Mohan Reddy would really want. And Chandrababu Naidu would then become only a Krishna district, Guntur district leader, and that would really lead to an political isolation of Chandrababu Naidu and his supporters even within the TDP, forget Andhra Pradesh. So that is something which Jagan Mohan Reddy is doing. But is it only politics? The other major concern which I had flagged in an article on our website filtercopylive.com is about the Andhra Pradesh police concern, because something which the Nageshwar Rao committee or any other voices have not picked up adequately is the police concern. Because remember, Visakhapatnam at this point in time is the only district in Andhra Pradesh out of the 13 districts of Andhra Pradesh where there is Maoist activity in the Andhra-Orissa border zone area. In places like Paderu, Araku, there is a presence of the Naxals, of the outlaws, and they have urban teams. And this is something which the police officers have told me that they are concerned about these urban teams managing to get into the city and moving around, and the possibility of them inflicting some kind of a heavy-duty damage, given the fact that most of the political leadership will now be based out of Visakhapatnam. So is this something which the Jagan Mohan Reddy government, the political leadership, will have to take seriously? Of course it would have to, because remember, in September 2018, the Naxals, the Maoists, actually managed to gun down a sitting MLA of the TDP, Kidari Sarveshwar Rao, in broad daylight in Visakhapatnam district's rural area. So that is something which has to be taken seriously. How they are going to deal with it, we don't know, but definitely it's a red flag as far as the location of the administrative capital in Andhra Pradesh is concerned. How has the YSRCP really been reacting to all this? First of all, with a whole lot of derision, with some kind of scorn, but the kind of language which some of the YSRCP leaders have used, for instance, calling most of the farmers who are protesting in Amaravati as paid artists, certainly not in good taste. While you may allege that there is a definite TDP backing, a definite Janasena backing to the protest taking place in Amaravati over the last 2 weeks. But the fact is that you cannot completely ignore it, because at the end of the day, the farmers in these 29 villages did not sign an undertaking with the Telugu Desam party. Yes, Naidu was chief minister, but the undertaking was signed with the Andhra Pradesh government. So it's a sovereign guarantee, and just like the YSRCP government has been completely ignoring all the bills of genuine works undertaken during the 5 years of TDP regime, kind of insinuating that there was some kind of corruption involved, you cannot do the same with everyone. Here it is duty bound to, in a sense, honor this agreement, and in case it cannot, it it needs to provide for compensation, at least have a dialogue with these protesting farmers. What the YSRCP is doing is, by kind of insinuating that they are paid artists, by kind of attributing political motives to the entire agitation, the YSRCP is in a sense insulting the people of Amaravati and all these farmers. It needs to reach out. There has to be some kind of a political outreach by the YSRCP government, by the party in general, towards these farmers, because at the end of the day, they were given a sovereign promise by the government of Andhra Pradesh, which the present government of Andhra Pradesh is simply refusing to obey, simply refusing to acknowledge at this point in time. So it is Jagan Mohan Reddy's job to talk to those farmers. Yes, at the end of the day, which capital, where the capital is going to be located is going to be entirely the Andhra Pradesh government's decision. The center will not really, technically speaking, have a role to play in deciding which place should be the capital of Andhra Pradesh. Yes, the government, the central government would come into play as far as the location of the High Court is concerned. That's where Jagan Mohan Reddy would need some help and cooperation from the Union Law Ministry in order to relocate the High Court from Amaravati to Kurnool and establishing 2 benches in both Visakhapatnam and Amaravati. There he would need the center's help. But to say that, okay, I'm going to move the administrative capital to Visakhapatnam, I don't think the center or Prime Minister Narendra Modi or Home Minister Amit Shah would really have much of a say in really doing that. So that is the position at this point in time. It's a different kind of a new year in Amaravati on January 1st. The same would be the case leading up to the days up to Sankranti. We do not know how long they'll be able to sustain this particular agitation. But yes, decency definitely demands that the Jagan Mohan Reddy government actually reaches out to these protesting farmers and has some kind of a dialogue with them. Chandrababu Naidu, again, despite all the turbulence within his own party, deciding to back the Amaravati farmers all through. It's also a difficult decision for Naidu, because it is based on his word that they actually gave up their lands as part of the land pooling exercise. So he cannot even back out of that entire commitment that he had given as chief minister and not be seen as backing the farmers of Amaravati at this stage. So it is a catch-22 situation for Chandrababu Naidu. So he has decided to kind of go ahead with what he thinks is right, despite not getting enough support from his party leaders in both North Coastal Andhra Pradesh as well as the Rayalaseema region. So that is then on this episode of Decode the South. Do subscribe to the channel, do like and share this video with all your friends on different forms of social media. Thank you very much for watching.